everyone. Cottrell here. This is Power Hour. Welcome. So glad that you're here. So this is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. So go ahead and roll out your yoga mat and we'll get ready to go. As you're setting up, let me tell you what we're going to be doing in our practice today. So we're going to be doing an arm balancing posture, arm balance, which is crow pose. Crow pose is one of my favorite arm balancing postures. And so we'll be balancing on our hands. It's almost like doing a handstand, but we'll be breaking it down. And there's many components of that posture that you should be able to do it, even if you don't get into the full posture. Now for your props, you will need a couple of blocks, at least just one block. My blocks are kind of thin, and so I've got 2 blocks, but you do want something sturdy, okay? Now we use blocks for many things. You might use it for, bringing the floor a little bit closer to you. You rest your hand on it, like in a side angle pose, for example. But we are going to be using it as a perch for our crow pose. And so you want something that you can stand on. So you want something firm. It could be a hardback book or a yoga block if you happen to have it. I think that's all that we'll need for our practice. You're certainly welcome to have some bottled water, grab a blanket, a pillow, anything like that, okay? So let's go ahead and start in mountain pose. So I invite you to stand nice and tall near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart, toes forward. You might start with a few deep breaths in and out. You might breathe in through your nose, and you can exhale through your nose or through your mouth. You can do this with your eyes opened. You can also do this with your eyes closed. This is just a nice way to help prepare your body, prepare your mind, tune in, and really arrive in the moment. Be more present. Letting go of all those distracting thoughts and feelings, so you can just pay attention to yourself as you move through your practice today. Continue breathing deeply in and out, just holding here in stillness. This is also a good time to set an intention for your practice. As mentioned, we're going to be doing an arm balancing posture, a crow pose. So of course a crow is a bird, and so you might be thinking of something like taking flight. It's also an arm balancing posture, so you might just think about balance. I'm going to be incorporating some other balancing poses as well in the class. So whatever might come to mind, or just anything in general that you are needing or desiring for yourself. Perhaps this practice can be a catalyst towards that. Slow, deep breaths. As you breathe in, you might feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. Even feeling a little taller, a nice lengthening in your spine. And as you exhale, you want to draw the navel inward towards your spine. Nice engagement here. When we do that exhale and feel that light contraction of the abdominal muscles, we're engaging our center, which is going to help us with balance. It's certainly going to help us with our crow pose, arm balancing position. Engaging here also just helps us to be still, strong, supported. Slow, deep breaths. Again, you might breathe in, feeling the breath rise, filling up your lungs, and your exhale to draw navel inward, connecting to your core center. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths in and out, using these breaths to prepare your body to move. When you're ready, let's start with our half salute to the sun. Inhale and extend your arms overhead. Reach nice and high, big stretch. Exhale, we'll fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down towards your toes. Now, you don't have to touch your toes this time or any time, but you could just bend your knees a whole lot more if you like to touch your toes or the ground. Then inhale, slide your hands up your legs, perhaps to your shins or knees, to extend your spine so you're flat like a table right here. And exhale, we'll go back down. You can go down minimally or go down completely, whatever feels right at this moment. And hold here. Let's take several breaths. Feeling that nice elongation through the spine, maybe even some release in the low back.
Let's do another halfway lift. Inhale, slide hands up the legs, extending spine so you're flat like a table. You might even hear me call this monkey pose. Then exhale, back down we go. Brief pause here at the end. Now shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down, look forward, take your arms out to the side, then inhale and stand up all the way. Treat it like a nice stretch. Reach up for the ceiling and exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Let's pause here as we return to mountain pose. You might even roll your shoulders just a few times backward and a few times forward, just to kind of loosen up in the neck, in your shoulders, and upper back. And we'll go through that half salute one more time. When you're ready to move, inhale, sweep the arms out and up, big stretch. Exhale, lead with your heart, fold forward with soft knees, making your way downward towards the ground. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to extend your spine, monkey pose, that long flat back. Exhale, back down we go. Weights in the heels, bend your knees, look forward, sweep your arms out to the side, then inhale, stand up nice and tall, reaching even higher as before, and exhale, arms back down by your side. Mountain pose. Hold here a couple more breaths. You can continue rolling the shoulders if that feels good, or just hold in stillness, paying attention to your breathing. In a moment, we'll start our Sun Salutation Series A. And when you're ready, inhale, let's take the arms into the air, extended mountain pose. Exhale, let's fold forward with soft knees. Make your way down to deep forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. This exhale, you're going to bend your knees, let the back round, coming down close to the floor so you can place your hands on your mat. Step both feet back to the back end of your mat until you're in a high push-up position, plank pose. Let's hold here for several breaths. Since we're doing an arm balancing posture, this is going to be part of that engagement. Hands pressing into the ground, strong arms here. So feel that energy. Inhale as you feel the lengthening in the whole body. When you exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. We're taking a shortcut to downward facing dog. Part of our sequence will involve that shortcut too. Let's hold here for a moment. We still have that strong connection to the ground with the hands. I would even suggest spreading out your fingers pretty wide to have a strong base. Your whole palm is flat, pressing into the ground. Strong, straight arms. You can keep a slight bend in your knees as your hips lift nice and high. Let's take several breaths here. We're still breathing in to fill up the lungs, even though we're upside down. Exhale, pull belly in, but also feel your hips lift a little higher. This is also going to be part of our crow pose sensation. We're going to move here. Breathe in. Exhale, navel to spine, engaged body, bend your knees, walk, step, or jump. Both feet up to the top of the mat. Once you're here, inhale to extend your spine. Exhale, fold. Shifting the weight into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come back up to standing, reach into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Very nice. Couple breaths, circle those shoulders. Even shake out the wrists. Little circles with the wrist and wiggle your fingers. There's a lot of pressure on the hands in our postures that we're doing today. Just like that plank pose, we have that forced flex feeling. So at any time you can always rest and even turn the hands in the other direction. So you get a little counter stretch like this. Okay? All right, let's get ready for Series B. Inhale, take the arms into the air. Exhale, let's take chair pose. Feel like you're sitting back into a chair that's behind you. Once you're in your seat, inhale, reach out with your arms, and exhale, dive forward. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bending enough to place your palms on the mat. Make sure you spread out your fingers. Walk or step or jump, both feet back, plank pose. Let's hold again. Press firmly down into the ground. You want to feel like you're pushing the ground away from you. Even feel like your whole back body wants to lift right up towards the ceiling. Let's breathe in. This exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs as you lower yourself towards the floor. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press into the floor to straighten your arms, lifting just your chest so you'll end up in a back bend. Upward facing dog. Exhale onto your toes, lifting knees and hips into the air. Downward facing dog. Adjust your feet. Adjust your hands. Again, make sure your fingers are spread out wide. Press firmly into the ground. Make sure you're pressing more towards thumbs and index fingers. Strong, energized arms. Let's continue with our lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Reach nice and long. Exhale, bring this right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel turns to the floor. Make sure you step or shift your weight into that back foot so the hands are now light. You can inhale, hinge from hips, rise up, reach up, warrior one. Your exhale to hinge at the hips, folding forward, bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose. Bend elbows, lower your way down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale to lift an open chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lifting hips into the air, down dog. Other side when you're ready. Inhale, extending left leg up behind you, reach long. And exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel plants into the floor. Make sure those have a good connection. Then inhale, rise. Rise when you're ready, reaching up into the air, warrior one. And your exhale to hinge and fold. Hands back down. Step back, plank pose. Bend elbows, lower your way down. Let's complete the series. Inhale, up dog, heart opened. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's pause here for a couple breaths. Now let's take it to the floor. Go ahead and kneel down. Sit back briefly in hero pose, and then sit down onto the mat. Swing the legs around to the front here. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat, and then go ahead and lie down onto your back. We're going to move into bridge pose. So first, just lie down with your knees bent and feet flat on the ground. Take several breaths here as an opportunity to relax your body. And make this connection to the ground. Feel the feet touch the earth, your whole backside touching the ground. Making this nice connection. Deep breaths in and out. We'll be moving into bridge pose, our heart opening back bend. Whenever you're ready, take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, empty your belly. Even feel your low back press down into the floor, belly button towards spine, and then lift your hips away from the ground. You can adjust your feet if you need to for better stability, and you might even get your shoulders and arms a bit underneath you. I like to bend my elbows here at 90 degrees, pressing the elbows and triceps down into the floor, just to help lift the hips and expand the chest a little bit more. Feel the legs energize here. This is great workings for the whole lower system of the body. Thighs, hamstrings, and glutes. And if you rise up onto your tiptoes as an option, you'll get your calves involved too. 2 more breaths. After that second breath, wiggle your toes forward a little bit. We're making space so we can get out of this pose safely. Extend your arms up into the air, then slowly roll your way down to the ground. Let's draw knees into chest. Carefully rock forward and back several times. Getting a little momentum, and with a good exhale, rock your way up to seated, coming to boat pose. So you want to sit up nice and tall. Nice straight spine, lean back, keeping the back straight, and as you lean back, maybe lifting the feet off the ground. You could do this with heels down on the floor if you'd like. Or lifted, and once you lifted the feet, you might flex the feet there just to keep them active. Shins might be parallel to the floor. You can hold on to your legs here for balance and stability. Also helps to hold you up, lengthening through the spine. A slight lift of your chin. Okay, so you might be looking slightly upward so that your spine is in the same alignment as the rest of your spine. Good core engagement. So we're breathing in, filling up the lungs. Exhale, engage belly. We're doing a lot of core work here, okay, because some of our balancing is going to involve core. Let's breathe in. Exhale, cross legs. Hands in front if you can. Hop or step back, plank pose. Stay here. Push. Strong arms. Even lift your hips slightly so you feel some lightness in the back body. Again, feeling like it's going to float into the air. Let's take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees a little. Send your hips into the sky. Downward facing dog. Adjust the feet. Let's take our lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up. Let's open this up. You're going to bend your right knee. Bring your heel down toward your backside. And then lift the knee up into the air. Treat this as a hip opener. The knee is it's lifting up, but it's kind of opening up. Inhale again. Exhale to unwind it and step through. So right foot lands near the right hand. Left heel plants into the floor behind you. Hinge from the hips, rise up, warrior one, reaching high. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Warrior two. Settle into the pose. Let's relax the arms for just a moment. Even roll the shoulders. Let's just get into the legs a little bit. Now this feels pretty good for me right here, but we're going to really lengthen and get some more opening here. So what I'd like you to do, if you'd like, is to wiggle the right foot forward once or twice, not very far, and the left foot back the same distance. Just putting a little bit more distance between the feet and then lunge a little deeper. See if there's more sensation that shows up in the right inner thigh. We're still just going to keep the arms relaxed here for a moment so you can really settle into this part of the pose. Okay? So crow pose is not only an arm balancing posture, but it's a hip opener too. So we're doing other hip openers, and this is a great one. So warrior two. Let's go ahead and add the arms. Re-extend your arms. Hold for a couple more breaths. Really reach. All right, let's take side angle pose. We're going to reach forward with the right hand to angle the upper half of the body. Then rotate your arm so your right arm may come to the inside of the right leg while left hand reaches into the air. We're still lunging pretty deeply. And this is about as far as I'm going to go, but you certainly can go down lower where this right hand touches the ground, or that's when you can bring in those stacked blocks. More deep breaths. Nice deep lunge. Great sensations in the opened body. Let's move from here. Breathe in. Listen, we're going to exhale, turn. Bring both hands to the inside of your right foot. All right? And you're going to rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. So we're kind of in this runner's lunge. For the moment, bring the left knee down onto the floor so you don't put too much pressure on the hands. Because we're going to reposition this right foot that I'm tapping. Okay, it's right next to my right hand, and I don't have a lot of space for my hands. So I'm just kind of heel-toeing my right foot off to the right side and even pointing out at an angle. And I can take my right hand and kind of slide it over so my hands are right on, just almost on either side of the mat here. Okay, let's go ahead and tuck the left set of toes there, lifting the knee. And hold for a moment. Okay. Push into the ground with the hands, but even feel like you're trying to go forward. Deep breaths. Because this left knee is lifted, you're getting a nice hamstring stretch. Long spine if you're able. 2 more breaths. We're going to add on to this because that back leg is pretty active. We're going to bring the left knee back down to the floor. Now let's focus on the right inner thigh. I'm going to have you step your hands forward a little bit, like this. Make sure you've got the fingers spread out wide. And start bending your elbows, lowering yourself towards the floor. Now you don't need to reach the floor, just a little lowering of yourself until you feel that sensation in the right inner thigh. Now we're still getting a stretch in the left hip flexor as well. So lots of things going on, but some more emphasis and awareness of the right inner thigh stretch. Now, if you can go deeper, you're welcome to. I'm going to bring in my blocks, which are nearby right here. And I'm actually going to bring my elbows to the blocks because going down to the floor is going to be a little bit too deep for me. So I'm just going to bring them to the blocks, and that feels just right. So I really do feel this working in the right inner thigh. Okay, that hip opening work I talked about. Still feel like you're extending your spine. So if your hands are on the floor, press, or if your elbows are on the floor or blocks, press down, but use that as some leverage to help extend like you're trying to go forward. Let's take 2 more breaths. Now, if you made it down to your elbows, come up onto the hands. Move your props out of the way if you did use props. Tuck your toes behind you. Pull the hips up and back so we're getting out of that deep sensation. Let's bring that right foot back in. I'm just heel-toeing it back in, sliding my right hand over so I've got some space. That right hand is planted on the floor right next to the right foot. We're going to re-lift that left knee, pivot left heel to the floor. Make sure there's some good pressure in that back foot. We're going into side angle, but it's going to be much deeper. Right hand still on the ground. This left hand is lifting, opening sideways. So a deep side angle pose. So the right hand is on the floor here. I'm not going to be here long. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the hand back down to the ground. Rise up on the tiptoes behind you. Slide this right foot back, plank pose. We're going to take a break. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back into hero.
Alrighty. Now remember, that's a lot of forced flexing with the hands. Counter that stretch. So tops of the hands can press together or even gently onto your mat. Some breaths here, not too hard. I'm just laying them here. I'm not pushing into them at all. And a couple of breaths. All right, I have the whole other side to do. So we're getting into these legs. All right, let's come back out to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, lift the knees, plank. Let's take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, hips into the air. All right, other side. You're going to inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Bend. It feels like it's lifting up towards the ceiling, but it's a hip opener as well. Breathe in. Exhale, unwind it, step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Warrior one. So right heel plants into the floor. Rise when you're ready. Reaching up into the sky. Exhale, let's open it to a warrior two. Reaching out initially to arrive in the pose. But we're going to relax those arms so we can get into the legs and hip openers. So I invite you to maybe move this left foot forward a little bit, once or twice. And the back foot, same thing. So that you've created more distance between the feet and lunging a little deeper, a little bit more sensation in the left inner thigh. Hold that for a moment. You can even take a moment to even roll your shoulders or even relax or circle the wrists while the legs are doing their work. And then we can return to our warrior two, extending the arms. Side angle, reaching forward to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate the arms. Left arm down, right hand up in the air. And again, you could go all the way down to the floor, but we now know we are going to be doing that later in the flow. So here you might modify it. So the left hand or arm is braced on the inner left thigh. Let's breathe in. And exhale, we're going to turn, bring both hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you, so we're in this lunge. Bring right knee to the floor, taking some of the pressure off the hands for a moment. Let's heel toe this left foot off to the side. It might be partially on and partially off the yoga mat, but the toes are pointing outward at an angle. So the leg is opened here. That's going to give you a lot more space. That way you got more space for your hands, so you feel a little bit more centered. Let's tuck the toes behind, lifting the knee. Push into the ground with the hands. Try to even go forward, even look forward. Just put this body into action here. Deep breathing. Notice what's happening. Strong upper body for sure. Hips are slightly lifted. That back leg is extended. It's off the ground. Maybe feeling this in the hip flexor. Deep breaths. In a moment, we'll get into that left inner thigh. Let's go ahead and bring the right knee down to the ground. You're going to step the hands forward just a little bit here. So the hands are out from underneath the shoulders. Start bending elbows so it lowers the chest a little bit towards the ground. You can go as low as you want. Now I'm really starting to feel more sensation in the right inner thigh. Right hip flexor as well as the left inner thigh. I'm going to bring in those blocks again. You can certainly come all the way down to the ground with the elbows if you can reach, or bring in those stackables over there. For me, taking this left leg out to the side, turned at an angle, really provides the space in the pelvis so you can get a little deeper into this particular position. That right hip flexor still getting a nice stretch, as well as the left inner thigh. Deep breaths. Remember, you're rooting or bearing down into the floor or blocks with your hands or elbows, and feel like you're moving forward. 3 more deep breaths, please.
After that third breath, if you made it down to your elbows, let's come back up onto the hands. Let's move the blocks out of the way. We're going to heel toe that left foot back in. And reposition the hands. All right, we're going to re-lift that right knee. Pivot right heel to the floor. Left hand and left foot are right next to each other. We're going to see if we can keep that left hand planted into the ground. And then opening up sideways as best as you can towards the right side of the room. Right hand reaching into the air. Notice where you feel this. Still a deep hip opener. Inhale. And we'll exhale to bring both hands back down to the ground. Slide this left foot back. We're in plank pose. Hold here just to feel the alignment or realignment of the body. Let's finish with our push-up. Coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice full breath in. As you exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet back up to the top of the mat. Inhale to extend spine. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing. Reach up towards the sky. Exhale, arms down by your side. All right, let's shake that out. Shoulders, and don't forget the wrists. Circle in the wrists, wiggle your fingers. Even that light pressure this way to counter stretch this way, okay? All right, let's get into some balance. Standing balance. So we'll start with tree pose. Nice basic posture to start with. I'm going to try to mirror you. So we're going to shift the weight over to right foot. Press down into the floor. Nice and tall as you inhale. Exhale to engage center to help with balance. We're going to float the left foot up when you're ready, flexing the left foot. Swing the knee out to the side, bringing foot to the inside of the standing leg. Let's inhale, take both arms up into the air. Really reach, stretch. Hold for several breaths. We're going to do 2 versions of balancing. First, we're establishing our tree pose, and we're going to do a variation of this in a moment. Nice energy of extending. Keep arms in the air. We're going to swing the left knee forward, lifting knee with the flex foot. See if you can lift it past center. Bring left hand and catch just underneath the knee, right at the shin. Take left knee to the left side of the room. Take right hand to the right side of the room, just for balance here. Opening up. I'm even feeling like I'm expanding through the chest here. All right, we're going to bring that knee back to center. Take hand back up into the air. As you release this left knee, bring the foot to the floor and bring left hand up into the air, straight line, arms down by your side. All right, so that's our little balancing sequence. Shake out those shoulders. Circle the wrists, wiggle your fingers, counter stretch. Good. Other side when you're ready. Mountain pose. Now start shifting weight into the left foot, root down into the floor. We'll inhale to get very tall. Breath rising to fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage center. And then floating that right foot up, flexing the foot to keep the legs strong and energized. Swinging knee out to the side. That's a hip opener. Placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. We'll inhale, take the arms up into the air. Exhale, hold, and we'll hold for several breaths. This nice, tall, balancing pose. We're getting ready for our part 2. Let's keep the arms extended. We're going to swing the right knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Lift it higher than your belt line so we can bring this right hand down, catch the shin or just below the knee. Then take the knee off to the right side where your left hand reaches out to the left side for a little balance. So I'm reaching that way and the knee pointing in that direction, but almost taking them slightly behind me. To the wall behind me. So there's an opening through the chest and through the pelvis. Let's bring that knee forward as the left hand goes back up into the air. Release right foot to the floor. Right hand back up into the air. Straight line, alignment and balance. Arms back down by your side. Same little procedure. Shoulder roll.
wrist circle, wiggle fingers, counter stretch. Good. All right, let's flow. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the floor. Hop or step back, plank pose. Come right down, chaturanga dandasana. We're going to really flow through this. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Going through that same series. Just a little faster. Inhale, extend right leg up. Bend and twist open. Get that hip opener. Unwind it, step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants down behind you. Inhale, rise up. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening Warrior 2. Take a quick second. You can relax the arms, but take feet wider. Lunge deeper. Re-extend arms. Side angle, reach out. Rotate arms. This could be modified. Reach down and up as you inhale. Exhale, turn. Bring both hands to the floor on the inside of right foot. Rise up on tiptoes behind you. Heel toe right foot off to the right side. Replace that right hand. We're going to bring left knee down. Step hands forward. Start here by trying to come forward, lengthening through torso, and then you can go lower towards the floor. I'm going to step my hands farther forward. I want to see if I can bring my elbows all the way down to the ground. Okay, that's kind of deep. I can get the left elbow down, but the right elbow isn't quite making it. If I took that right leg out more, I probably could. 3 more breaths. Keep spine extended. Even lengthen that left leg and foot behind you. Reaching to the back edge of your mat while you're trying to go forward. Okay, let's come back up onto the hands. Heel toe right foot back in and onto the mat. Tuck toes, lift the knee. Pivot left heel to the floor. Keep right hand planted onto the floor. Reopen deep side angle. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to the floor. We're stepping back into plank pose. Come down, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up. Bend and twist. Exhale to unwind, step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel plants into the ground. Inhale, float up, Warrior 1. Exhale, opening, Warrior 2. Relax arms momentarily as you take a wider stance. Then re-extend arms. Side angle right away. Rotate arms. Left hand down, right hand up. Inhale, reach up and down. As we exhale, we turn, bringing both hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Heel toe left foot off to the side, way off to the side, making a lot of space. Reposition the hands. Bringing right knee to the floor. Lengthen the foot back there. Step hands forward. Let's lengthen here. You want to feel like just look forward and try to go forward. Then you can start bending elbows more, bringing yourself closer to the ground. You might need to bring in those blocks. Just be aware if you feel curved in the spine, because that's how I feel at the moment for me. So I'm just going to just look forward and feel like you're almost pulling, very gently though, dragging yourself forward just a bit, just to help find that extension of spine. 2 more breaths. And then come back up onto the hands. Let's heel toe the left foot back in. Tuck toes behind you, lifting the right knee. Pivot right heel to the floor. Left hand stays on the ground next to left foot. Deep side angle by taking right hand up into the air. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Let's step back, plank pose. Finish with chaturanga. Up dog and downward facing dog. All right, let's take another break. Bring knees to the floor. Sit back into hero. Counter stretch for the wrists. Now you can just take a regular seat here because I'm going to demonstrate the next movement. We're working towards that crow pose now. We've done some upper body work, done some deep lunges, and a little bit of balancing. All right. Now here's another opportunity to use your blocks. I'm just adjusting my mat here. So have your blocks nearby. So I'm going to move into downward facing dog. Blocks are close by here. Just watch. You can just watch me. So I'm in down dog. So I'm going to hop forward
When I hop forward, I'm going to land with my feet really wide, wider than my hands. Let the knees bend. Let my hips drop, coming down towards the floor. And I'm going to be sitting in a squat. Here I go. Breathe in. When I exhale, hop forward. Just watch me hop forward, landing with feet wide, knees bend, hips come down. And there's my deep yogic squat. Now, if you can't get down this low, or if you feel like you're going to lose your balance, that's when you can use those blocks. Bring them in, maybe, and just sit on your blocks like that. Let me turn towards you so you can see what's happening here. So we're just doing more of that deep inner thigh stretch here in this yogi squat, just like this. With the arms, you're going to just give the legs a little push outward, okay? A little push outward. You can even bring hands to heart center, just like that. All right, let's give that a try. So let's all come to downward facing dog. Have your blocks nearby if you'd like. Down dog. When you're ready, full inhale. Exhale, hop forward, landing with feet wide, knees bend, hips drop. You sit on the blocks if you need to. Check in with your spine. Mine's curved. So we want to get that lengthening effect. And what's going to help with that lengthening effect is when you take elbows or arms, push outward against the legs, it's the inner legs, use it as leverage to feel tall in the spine. And then hands to heart. We're getting closer to our arm balancing posture. Because basically it's this. But we're going to be balancing on our hands in a moment. All right, first just bring your hands to the floor. Lean into your hands. Okay, when you lean forward, let your elbows bend naturally, and the weight of the legs will just kind of press against the elbows. Now, this could be your crow pose. Okay, if you're not going to be going up into the arm balance, let this be the posture for you. So the elbows are bent, legs are resting against the arms, and you can still extend your spine. Okay? Lift your hips right here, and then gently just come to hands and knees here. And then go ahead and take another seat, either in hero pose or sit down completely. Okay? So let me show you kind of how you can get into crow pose. We're just going to step into it. And this is where your book or firm block is going to come into play. Now, what you also could do, because this is a balancing posture, if you feel like if you're afraid that you might fall on your head, then maybe you want to put a pillow or a blanket out in front of you, just in case you tip over, okay? Now, we've got our block. I'm going to use two right here, one next to the other. This is my perch. Just watch. So I'm going to stand on my perch, on my tiptoes here. His heels are lifted. So I'm almost in that yogi squat, but on the blocks. Okay, so here's that yogi squat. I'm going to bring the hands to the ground, but lean forward a little bit so the palms are flat. That's going to force me to lean forward, bending the elbows, and again, let the legs rest or lean right up against the elbows. Again, this could be the end of your posture. Now, I'm extending spine, feeling like I'm going forward. Now, if I lift my hips and lean forward, shifting my body weight forward, my head will start to tip down, hips lift up, and maybe eventually I can lift 1 foot, then 2 feet off my perch. I'm basically balancing on my arms, bent elbows. I'm coming back down. Let's give it a try. Do your very best. Put a blanket or pillow out front if you need to. Grab your blocks for your perch and just join me. Up on that perch, you'll be on your tiptoes, so the heels will be lifted here. Kind of come to that yogi squat. Knees opened for the hip opener. Hands or fingertips on the ground. Let's step the hands forward so the palms are flat. Out in front. You might curve in the spine. That's okay. But then lean. Boom. Just like that. So the legs Bump right into your bent arms above the elbows. I'm just repositioning my hands a little bit. I'm taking my hands a little wider. Again, that could be the end. The only thing I would add here is extend spine. Feel like you're trying to go forward. If you want to go further, lift hips. Shift body weight forward. Let your head tip down, hips lift. This could be the end. Maybe you can take one foot off the perch and then put it back down and lift the other and put it back down, or lean forward more, pick up both feet, and then come back down to the blocks. How'd you do? All right, let's put this into play. Okay, we're coming off the perch. Just follow me. Let's move our blocks out of the way. Let's come to downward facing dog. But let's not get too far to the front edge of the mat. Step back, a good 1.5 feet. Okay, back. Downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to jump forward and land in our yogi squat. Remember that? Here we go. Hop forward, land with the feet wide, toes turned out, knees bent, hips come down. Hands to heart, push elbows against the inner legs outward, extend spine. Crow pose. Bring the hands to the ground. So hopefully you've got some space out in front of you. Step the hands forward. Lean. Let the elbows bend as you lean. The legs will be heavy against the legs. Now you could bring in those blocks again to stand on if you need to, or just lift the heels high up on tiptoes. Extend spine. Pause here or keep going. Lean forward. Head goes down. Hips go up. Feet go light. There's your crow. Bring feet down. Keep the hands where they are. Step the feet back. Plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're going to standing, so jump, step, or walk. Both feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale to extend spine. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing, reach up high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Same little conditioning, shoulder roll. Circle wrists, wiggle fingers, counter stretch for the hands and wrists. All right, let's see if we could just put a sequence together. We're just going to go through it once, okay? And just do your very best. So we're just putting this together. We're going to start with those standing balancing postures, tree pose, going into a lunge, warrior two, that side angle. Okay, we're not going to do that deep side angle, but a side angle, and then getting ready to go into yogi squat, crow, finish the sequence, and then we're going to take it back into tree with the second balance. Okay, that was a lot. Let's just do it. Okay, mountain pose. We're starting with tree pose. Follow me. Shifting weight into right foot. Get nice and tall in the spine. Inhale. Exhale, core connect. Let's lift left foot. Swing knee off to the side. Place it on the inside of the standing leg. Let's take both arms up into the air. Balancing and hip opening. Okay, we're going into a lunge from here. Let's keep the arms extended. Swing left knee forward. Lifting knee with the flexed foot. Keep it there. Bend your right knee to the leg you're standing on, just a little. Hinge forward. Extend your arms forward as you extend the left leg back. Set the left set of toes down behind you into a lunge. You'll be in high lunge. Open, warrior two. Let's reverse the warrior, taking right hand up into the air, and then right down into a side angle, just a regular side angle here. Reach down, reach up. Inhale. Exhale, turn, bring the hands to the floor. Step back, just a plank. Take a shortcut to down dog. Bend the knees, hips high. Yogi squat. Hop forward, land with feet wide, knees bend. Hips down. Sit on your blocks if you need to. Hands to heart. We want extension through the spine, so push legs outward with the elbows, lift and lengthen through spine. Yogi squat to crow. Bring hands to the floor in front. Lean forward. Lean. Let the elbows bend, legs rest against the arms. Extend spine. This could be the end. Or tip, head down, hips lift up, maybe toes lift away from the ground. Crow. Set the feet back down. Step back. Plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. We're taking right leg up into the air. Right leg. Right foot to the top of the mat. Return to high lunge. High lunge. So left set of toes are pointing forward, heel is lifted. High lunge here. I call it a balancing lunge position. Hinge forward. Just kind of taking this in reverse. Shifting weight into right foot. So you can pick up the left foot, bend that left knee, bring it forward. Stand up tall, lift the knee past parallel, catch knee or shin with left hand. Take knee to the left side, right hand to right side. A little bit of an opening here. Return to tree. Bring the foot to the inside of the right leg. Both arms up into the air. See, this is exactly where we started. Swing the left knee forward, plant it into the ground, arms down by your side. That's our sequence. Let's do the other side. First, just find your steadiness. You can even do our little conditioning if you'd like. All right, tree pose, other side. Shifting weight into left foot. Nice and tall in the spine as you inhale. Exhale, core engagement. Pick up right foot, swing knee out to the side, plug it in. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, connect and hold. Tree pose into a lunge. Let's swing the right knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Bend the left knee. Hinge forward, extend the arms outward, forward. Right leg extends back. Set the toes down behind you into a high lunge position, nice and tall. Opening here to warrior two. Side angle pose. Reversed warrior. Reversed warrior. Left hand up into the air. Now we'll windmill down into a side angle. Left hand down, right hand up. Inhale here. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose, straight line. Shortcut, down dog, bend knees, hips into the air. Yogi squat. Hop forward, landing with feet wide, knees bent, hips come down. Hands to prayer. Push legs out, extend spine. Stay here if you'd like, or attempt your crow pose. Hands on the floor. Lean forward, let the elbows bend, legs rest against the arms. Extend spine. Stay here or continue. Tip head down, hips lift. Rise up on tiptoes. Maybe feet lift, maybe they don't. No, don't worry about it. Even here, you're still extending through spine if you made it into the balance. Set the feet back down. Step back, plank pose. Come down, chaturanga. Up dog. And downward facing dog. Lunges. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, straight up behind you. Left foot to the top of the mat. High lunge. Right heel's lifted, toes pointing forward. Rise up, balancing lunge. Okay, we're taking it in reverse basically. Hinge forward. Shifting weight into left foot. Picking up the right foot, bend the knee, bring it forward as you stand up tall. Bringing knee forward and up, catch the knee with the right hand. Take right knee to right side, left hand to left side, opening up. Tree pose, place this right foot on the left inner leg. Both arms up into the air, right back where we started. Keep arms extended, swing right knee forward, plant foot into the ground. Arms come down by your side. That's it. That's our sequence. Condition. Circle your shoulders. Circle your wrists. Wiggle your fingers. Counter stretch for the wrists. Well done. Alrighty, let's make our way down to the ground. A few more poses to do as we work towards the end of our practice. Inhale, extend the arms up into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Monkey pose, extending, lengthening through the back body. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Come down if you like, chaturanga. You can just take that shortcut to down dog if you want. Or add this one last vinyasa. Hold in down dog for a few breaths. Let's take a seat. Hop forward, cross legs to take your seat, or just kneel down to take a seat. We're going to cobbler's pose. Soles of the feet touch here. Holding on to toes, feet, ankles, or shins, sitting up nice and tall. Let's hold here for a moment, and this too could be the end of the pose. Now, if this is too much of a bend in the knees, even though we've been doing a lot of knee bending in this practice, if this feels like it's a little bit too much, you can always send the feet forward, holding on to the shins here, and sitting up nice and tall. That works just as well. And if you'd like, after an inhale to extend spine, you can exhale and hinge forward. Something like this, just to add a little bit more sensation to the inner thighs. Deep breathing here. This is perfectly fine to also round your back. You can round your back here. Three more breaths. After that third breath, lift your chin to help re-extend spine. Hinge your way back up so you're nice and tall in cobbler's pose. Then we're going to lie down. So just be sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. And go ahead and lie down onto your back. Go ahead and hug the knees into chest. Even lift upper body a little bit away from the ground so you get a slight curve in the spine. And then maybe some circles with the legs or a rocking sensation that could be side to side, forward and back. Just a little massage. Alrighty, let's set both feet down, knees bent, lie down. So as if you're preparing for bridge. We're not doing bridge, but just lie down for that little rest. Extend left leg out in front of you. Hug right knee into chest, catch it in your hands. Half happy baby pose. This is really going to mimic that deep lunge we did earlier. Okay? So the knee is kind of gently take the leg out to the side, draw it up towards shoulder, lifting foot so the bottom of the foot's facing the ceiling, and then with the right hand, hold on to the bottom of the foot, and then gently press down. Now think about this. Can you imagine your body flipped over in that deep lunge? We had one leg extended out behind us, nice lengthening through the torso. That right leg, in this case, was out to the side and turned at an angle, getting deep. Okay, so very similar. You might even find that you're quite flexible here. For two reasons. One, we've been doing this already. And number two, we're doing one leg at a time. And we tend to get a little deeper into happy baby pose if we're working one leg at a time. All right, let's release this right leg, extend it out onto the floor. Briefly pause in Shavasana. Take a breath or two, everything relaxes. We'll do the other side. So when you're ready, let's hug left knee in. With that right leg still extended on the floor, my suggestion is to flex the foot just to keep the leg energized. All right, with this left knee, we're taking it kind of out to the side, drawing it towards left shoulder. Left foot, sole of the foot facing the ceiling. Left hand reaching up to grab hold of the bottom of the foot if you can reach. You can also just hold on to the ankle. Gently press down. So the knee feels like it's coming down to the ground on the outside of the body. Deep breaths. Again, mimicking that deep lunge we did earlier in the practice. But you might even feel a little bit more relaxed now since we're lying down. Getting much closer to the end. We're almost there. Two more breaths. Let's go ahead and release this left foot to the floor, extending the leg. Another brief Shavasana. We're not there quite yet. Let's just add a twist. Hug both knees in. We're not going to do this very long, just to get a little more relief in the low back. Both knees hugging in. Take both knees to left side of the room
Right arm off to the right, maybe 3, maybe 5 breaths, whatever you might need here. Again, we're not holding this too long, just the opportunity for a rotation in the spine. A little twist and stretch, hopefully affecting the low back in a good way. Back up to center, pause for realignment, and then other side. Three breaths or 5 breaths. And whenever you feel complete, just come back up to center. Gently hug the knees in towards body for realignment. And then you can release the legs, extending them out in front of you onto the ground. Arms down by your side, palms up. Take a nice full inhale, fill yourself up. When you exhale, feel that complete release and relaxation throughout the entire body. And here is where we'll hold Shavasana. Feel free to close your eyes and just continue your journey inward. Listen to the sound of your breath. This is also a good opportunity to return to your personal intention. You can also take the time just to acknowledge your practice. All those nice deep lunges, hip openers, balancing, both standing and arm balancing. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Even as I end the practice, you can stay just like this. And when you are ready to move, you might start with breathing, deep breaths, 5 deep breaths. And as you're breathing with intention, start to feel movement return to your body. After your 5th breath, or as full movement returns, carefully and slowly roll onto either side of your body, just moving into a nurturing pose, even for a breath or two. And then slowly rise. When you come to a seated position, feel free to sit on one of your props. It could be your blanket or one of your blocks. Sitting up nice and tall, legs crossed, nice lengthened spine. Relax shoulders, arms resting down by your side, hands in your lap. Find your breath. And one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness. Notice your breathing. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow, saying, Namaste.